Joining us now is Senator Tom Cotton from the great state of Arkansas. Senator, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Before we get to a potential military intervention in Mexico, I want to get your response to this new video just out this afternoon. A large group of Venezuelan migrants rushing the port of entry in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah, so Trey, that video is exactly why so many Americans wonder why the government is not doing more to protect us from threats from Mexico. When you have almost 1,000 people bum rushing a border crossing point, that would obviously overwhelm the Border Patrol. We have no way to vet who they are. You also have to say, why would they need to be coming to America? I mean, Venezuela is a socialist dictatorship. They may have legitimate claims to asylum, but they would have passed through many other countries that would be what's known as a safe third country under international asylum law, where they should have sought asylum. It's this kind of scene, though, that causes so many Americans to think that we do need to take firm action against the cartels and we do need to close our border.
You know, Senator, yours is an opinion that I hold in high regard because you wore the uniform. And to me, that matters. So there's some Republicans who don't even want to arm Ukraine. I mean, actually, quite honestly, Tom, Senator, they sound pro-Russian. Some of them. They don't even want troops in Syria. So, and then we hear about having troops go to Mexico. So if you were writing the platform or the position of the Republican Party on proper use of military, what would it be?
Well, Trey, it's true that Joe Biden often seems to care more about other countries' borders than he cares about America's borders. But it's also true that we can care about both. Our border is the most important border in the world for American citizens, but we can also help countries like Ukraine who have been invaded in an unprovoked war of aggression. What we should do on our border, first of all, is stop this illegal flow of migrants who have no legal claim to be here. Second, we have to stop the flow of fentanyl into this country. It's killing 100,000 Americans every year, almost twice as many as we lost in the entire Vietnam War every year, and almost all of it comes from Mexico. And I would simply ask your viewers, if Al-Qaeda or ISIS set up shop in Juarez or Monterrey or Tijuana, and they were killing 100,000 Americans every single year, what would you expect our government to do? And whatever it is, that's exactly what we should do to these cartels. And there's precedent for this as well, Trey. It's well known that special operation forces were present when the Colombian police killed Pablo Escobar, or when Mexican Marines captured El Chapo. We even toppled an entire government in Panama over drug trafficking into the United States. So again, I would just ask your viewers, whatever you would do to ISIS or Al-Qaeda killing 100,000 Americans every year, that's exactly what our government should do to these cartels in Mexico. And if the Mexican government wants to help us, so be it. If they don't, so be it.
I want to take a tour of the world with you, Senator. You served in Afghanistan. The House is having hearings about the withdrawal. What questions should the House ask, both about the withdrawal itself, period, and then the manner in which the withdrawal took place? What should they be asking?
Well, unfortunately, Trey, with Joe Biden as president, when you take a tour of the world, you normally find bad news and worse news. What happened in Afghanistan in the end all gets back to Joe Biden, the commander-in-chief. In 2009, he was the only one of Barack Obama's advisors who wanted to pull out from Afghanistan immediately, before we had even captured or before we'd even killed Osama bin Laden. He had a chip on his shoulder about that for 12 years, that Barack Obama listened to his military leaders and other advisors, not him. So when he came into office in 2021, he wanted to show everyone that he was right, to include Barack Obama. And he overrode the advice of his military commanders. He disregarded the advice of many of his own key advisors. So 100% of the fault for what happened in Afghanistan lies at Joe Biden's feet. We're going to learn more, I think, from the House hearings about exactly how President Biden overrode or rejected sound military advice or practical wisdom about what we should have done to have an orderly withdrawal from Afghanistan and a durable peace in that country. But I don't think it's going to change the conclusion that Joe Biden is responsible for what we saw there in August of 2021.
Senator Tom Cotton from the great state of Arkansas talking about two of his old jobs, soldier and member of the House. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday night. We'll talk to you soon.